class. So I would like to go through a few of the harder examples with you from yesterday's lesson. So I am on page 34. As you can see, I just changed the page number again to 34. So the page numbers are right here where this red dot is moving. This is where the page numbers are. So I'm on page 34. And I am on example 3 in this two-step inequalities section. So this problem, this is a basic problem, but we solve it very similarly to solving equations. We almost treat this inequality symbol like an equal sign. So I drew the arrows to distribute the 2, and I would have 2x, 2 times 4 is 8, so minus 8 is less than or equal to 10. And next, I need to get the x by itself. So I am going to add 8 to the other side, which leaves me with 2x is less than or equal to 18. And now I'm going to divide both sides by 2. Now, you will see here that I do not flip the sign. You don't have to flip the sign every time you divide. You just have to flip the sign if you're dividing by a negative number. So if this bottom number that I just highlighted, if that number is negative, that is when you flip the sign. So what we're going to do is take our answer, the number 9, and put it on one of these spots. You could put it all the way over here if you want. I like to put it right in the middle. And then this is going to be a filled in circle. And this is going to go to the left. I'm moving right on to the next example, which is number 5. This one's a little bit tough, so I wanted to go through it with you. So again, this is like an equal sign. I'm going to start this problem by subtracting over the 7 so that I can get that fraction by itself, which leaves me with negative x over 2 is less than or equal to 22. 29 minus 7 is 22. And now I'm going to multiply the 2 over to the other side to get rid of that denominator. So I have negative x is less than or equal to 44. Now I'm not done. I need to get the x by itself, and in doing so, I need to get rid of this negative by dividing over negative 1. Now I'm dividing by a negative number. So this is when I do flip the sign. So this sign was less than, it is flipping to a greater than or equal to negative 44. That's my answer. And you don't have to count out 44 tick marks. You can just put a 44, a negative 44, right on the number line with a filled in circle going to the right because we are going greater than. All right. So I would like to do a few more problems. I'm moving on to number 8. This is just a more complicated problem, but it's the same story. We are distributing this 3, which gives me negative 24 minus 18p, and then I'm dropping down this plus 3p. It's not in the parentheses, so I don't distribute to it. Greater than or equal to negative 84. All right, combining like terms. These are both on the same side. These p's are both on the same side, so I just combine them normally. I have negative 24 minus 15p is greater than or equal to negative 84. So I just combine negative 18 plus 3, which is negative 15. Now I'm going to add the 24 over. That gives me a negative 15p is greater than or equal to negative 60. And last but not least, I divide. So I am going to divide over this negative 15. Since the number I am dividing by, the bottom number here, is negative, that means I do have to flip the sign. So this is going to flip to less than or equal to positive 4. 60 divided by 15 is 4. So there's the work. I did have to flip the sign. I'm going to shrink this down so I can graph it. The 4 goes onto the number line. The reason why my answer is positive is because a negative divided by a negative is positive. The circle is going to be filled in and it's less than. So I'm going to shade to the left or draw my arrow to the left. And then the last one, I wanted to do 2 more. We're just flying through this. That's okay. You can always go back and rewatch. Okay, number 10. That K is on the wrong side. The letter's on the wrong side. So here's how I would solve this one. Negative 448 is greater than or equal to, let's see, we got negative 7 plus 56K. The reason it's a plus is because a negative times a negative is positive. Then we got plus 7K. So these numbers are getting complicated and big. I will show my work here. We got 56 plus 7. That's 63. So that's where this part is coming from. We got negative 7 plus 63K. And we still have this negative 448 on the other side. Same symbol. All right, I'm going to get the K by itself and then I'm going to rewrite it so that it's on the right side. Okay, again, I'll show my work. Negative 448 plus 7 is negative 441. And I'm left with the 63K, and now I'm going to divide by 63. Notice that the number I'm dividing by is positive. So it does not matter that the top number is negative. All that matters is that the bottom number is not negative. It is positive. So I do not have to flip the sign. Negative 441 divided by 63 is negative 7. Now, here's the issue. The variable is on the wrong side. So I'm actually going to rewrite this. And doing so, it's going to look like I flipped the sign. I actually am not flipping it because the pointy side was always facing K. So I'm going to rewrite this with the pointy side still facing K. But it looks like I kind of flipped it around, and I kind of did. I'm rewriting it so that the K is on the left side. So I put in negative 7, and once again, this is a filled-in circle. I haven't had many open circles in this, and we're going to shade less. All right. Last one I want to talk about here is when there's variables on both sides, nothing changes. This is the same exact thing. I would advise to always get your variables to the left so you don't have to do a rewrite at the end like I just had to do. So I'm going to add this 4x over. And that gives me negative 1x plus 24 is greater than 20. Next, I will subtract over the 24. And I get negative 1x is greater than negative 4. And I will divide. And I am dividing by a negative number. So I'm going to, since this bottom number is negative, I am going to flip the sign. So my final answer is x is less than positive 4. Negative divided by negative is positive. This one is an open circle because there's no underline, and less than goes to the left. Whew, so I did those really fast, but that's why this video is posted. So you can go back, you can rewatch, you can pause and listen again if I went too fast, which I know I did for many people. Now we're doing this parking activity. So your teacher today, the sub or Mr. G or Mrs. Sakura are going to pass out these signs, okay? And all you're going to do is talk with your group to graph when you can park according to the signs. So if I cannot park between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m., those are my magic numbers, 1 and 3, okay? What this means is I can park any other time except in between these. So I can park before 1 p.m. and I can park after 3 p.m., but I cannot park in between these times. I cannot park in between these times. So it looks like this, and these are open circles because I cannot park starting exactly at 1 p.m. So that's a no. That's a no. You're not allowed to park there, so it's an open circle. Now, the second example is you can park. It's 1 hour parking, and you're allowed to park from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. So if I'm graphing when I can park, then this means I can park between 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 and 6 p.m. So I can start parking there at 2 o'clock on the dot. So that includes 2 o'clock. And I have to stop parking there at 6 o'clock. But I can include 6 o'clock, just not after it. So I shade in between. That's when I'm allowed to park. And that's what you're going to do with your groups. You're going to talk with your groups about how to do various signs, and you're going to do 10 of them, and then you're going to work on your homework. Speaking of homework, the last thing I want to say was that there were some hard problems. So one thing I want to clarify on last night's homework is this. In number 9, you may have noticed that there's more than one way to write this. This is what I went over with my students in 7th and 8th period. I would write this inequality first. So since the red is to the right of this, you know x is greater than -1. And then you also know that x is less than 6. Again, because the red is to the left of the 6. And when there is shading in between, that's when you write the word and. When the arrows, there's 2 arrows in opposite directions, that's when you write the word or. So you write the inequality, x is less than or equal to -3. You write the other inequality, x is greater than or equal to -1. And since the arrows are going opposite directions, that's when you write or. So hopefully this clears up some confusion from yesterday and goes over some of the harder problems, as well as getting you geared up for that parking sign activity. I will see you all tomorrow.